All right, count the shit in again. And I'm still gonna fuck up your name on purpose because it's gonna be funnier because I've done it twice now.
I think you just don't know how to do it competently. So
You can think what you like. I'm gonna do it more because you just threw some shade. Yeah, you can throw shade all you want. I'm gonna do it again.
Aiden Frost goes nuts.
Yeah.
All right, Blake.
All right, I'm gonna go
Hit
mute.
that mute button, baby.
Yeah, I'll mute. Hold on. And
also mute your
we're good.
Skype just in case.
Yep. Oh, there you go. Double done.
Alrighty, I'll give the
All
countdown
right,
again.
it's done. I'm muted. Peace out.
Alrighty. Okay, so 5, 4, 3. Hey guys, and welcome to the League of Legends Anonymous podcast, episode 146. I am your host this week, Tyler, aka TSir Enigma, and joining me this week is Aidan, aka Frost. There, you happy?
Whoa, you did it! I'm so happy with you.
Change your summoner name. And also joining us this week is Brad, aka Adeptt. How's it going, man?
I appreciate you getting my name right, as you always do, because you're a charming host and very eloquent.
Thank you, man. How's everyone's weeks doing?
It's good. It's 10 out of 10. Like or 6 out of 10, but that's a pass.
That was a steep decline from 100% to 60. You went from an A+ to like a low C. Very
Sounds
quickly.
like university.
On a scale of 1 to terrible, like I'm just chilling and shit.
Yeah.
How's basketball treating there? You in your Cavs hat? I feel bad for you, sir. It's been a tough week.
Listen, when the most prolific team, regular season team of all time, adds an MVP that's the best scorer of the modern era to their team, it's not going to go great for me as an Eastern Conference fan. And you know what? I still got hope.
You still got hope?
I still got hope. I'm not a lot, like a very minimal amount of hope. It's like if you like had a bowl full of hope and you like dumped it out, there'd be like some residue hope.
Yeah.
Like a little residual hope. That's my hope.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's some, right? You gotta remain a little bit of faith. All right. Well, this week we do have some pre-show announcements, and I know Brad, people call for you to do this. They love it when you do this, especially.
They do, because the thing about me reading our patrons or Patreon members is I always get all of their names exactly right. So
You're known for that.
So we have 3 new ones this month, starting with Flem17 nailed it, Kevin G and Jake M. Now, if we're gonna talk our long-standing Patreons, we got your boy Dr. Ham. There's Biggie Size 89, RM Azriel. No man, fuck that Ram Azriel, Mammoth Cat, Big Dick Vic, Ted K, Bullet Bill X, Askley, HT, that's Rec Owner, Chuggington, Idle Lodi, whose name is an anagram and it fucked me up the first time I read it, Blakem, Scriff, Raddock, Jake C, Akil, aka AK3331, Inquisitor Kane, Mob Sob Wolf, Nobody Gonna Fuck With Me, Comeback X Kid, Emil Richter, Whoppy Floppy, Barnsey, Blackbeard Bandit, Rukig, Cray, and Guayans. Is that Spanish? Guayans. Good. I got nothing on
Don't
that.
forget about the entire row you skipped.
Oh no, I was getting to that. I was fucking with the flow. Gunday Monday, Isorbs, Eric W, Anna G, Brad, strong name S, and last but not least, Grumpy Conductor.
Very nice. I like that name, Grumpy Conductor. That's nice. I like it.
I feel like he's like not in a great mood, but he's like cordially moving the kids off his lawn. Like it's organized.
Well, like he's got like that job that everybody wanted as a kid. Like he's a conductor. Like he runs trains, but he's kind of grumpy. So like,
hey, you can always run a train.
Yeah, not touching that one. So because of our Patreons, that was hard to move on. We do have extra video content in the works.
It is hard to move on a train.
We're still gonna power right through it. So we're
Who's
gonna be
up next?
releasing. We're gonna be releasing some 60-second tip videos. Oh, we're so not
Just the
far
tip.
in. All right. As
That train
always,
don't
new
need no 1
listeners,
minute, man.
you're gonna love it. Some video versions of the podcast, some hashtag LOLA play montages, some LOLA challenge highlights, and if you have any other video suggestions, reach out to us. All the ways to contact us are going to be in the show notes.
Reach around to us.
Ignoring that, if you do want to support us on Patreon,
Hard
that'd be
to
greatly
ignore.
appreciated. These lovely people already do. Once we hit certain milestones, we do extra stuff like the new video content we're going to be pumping out. All of our milestones are on there, so patreon.com/LOLA podcast, so go check it out. That'd be greatly appreciated. And anyways, past that, though, we are moving on to the main discussion of this week's episode, and that is patch 7.11. Somewhat of a dull patch, lots of little balance changes, lots of little nuanced things, but there is 3 things that are kind of bigger, some reworks in there and some reworks to gameplay. But starting off, the Rek'sai kind of reworks. A little different. I know, Aidan, right away you weren't that excited about it, but
Boring. It's just a boring character. They just made her so she has like a less boring ultimate.
Fair enough.
It,
The only thing that's going to change is her build, I feel. You're going to a little more damage on her because some of the scaling went up a lot. Especially on her E. That E damage gets out of hand. But, yeah.
Do we actually want to run through it at all? Or
We can, just for some context for people.
yeah.
So her passive did change. So it used to be before that Fury generated 5 generators Fury for every basic attack, 10 for unburrowed abilities, and then 2.5 for additional units beyond hit beyond the first by abilities. That was way harder than it should have been. And now it's just 25 for all. So no matter what you hit with, no matter what you attack with, it's 25 Fury. And then the max board health regen was 25 to 450 over 5 seconds. It's now 20 to 190 over 3 seconds. So losing a bit of healing in there, but you do get the Fury faster, which we'll kind of play into.
Healing faster.
Yeah, it's less healing, but you do get it faster. So it's a bit of a trade-off on it. And the passive will kind of play in with her E because it gets that max Fury faster. So I guess we'll skip to the E then, just to kind of, they do tie into each other. The bit now has base damage. It used to be scaling on your total AD, but now it has a base damage plus the bonus AD that you have. So the base damage goes up from 50 to 90, and then the ratio on it is 0.85 of bonus attack damage. So it's pretty hefty. And then at max damage, so at max Fury, you gain bonus damage on somebody, and I believe it's true damage. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it does hurt.
If you're at max Fury, right?
Yeah,
Or
which
is it
now
all the
should
time
be
now?
easier to get to because it's 4
Right.
auto attacks
You get
or abilities.
Ability, auto, max
Yeah.
Fury.
Yeah, so and especially with it, like your Q, that's gonna if you wheel that in with some autos, it's gonna be very quick to get there. So that is gonna start hurting a lot more. And they did change for the burrowed E. The tunnel creation and re-entries have both had their cooldowns reduced at later levels. So when you start hitting like that over the halfway mark, it is faster to enter tunnels and make them. So it kind of gives her a bit cleaner mobility, a bit faster mobility, kind of moving into the game. And then there's her Q. The damage is down, but they changed the damage type from magic to physical on the burrowed Q, so that skill shot she fires out. So again, like another scaling towards AD damage on her. So it's gonna make some of those snipes hurt. No more AP Rek'sai that never unburrows in ARAMs because that sucked. I hated that build so much.
Well, if it still scales on AP,
I don't think it does. I think it's just straight
It's
same
both now.
scaling. Is it both now?
Yeah.
Ezreal
Yeah.
Q on Rek'Sai?
Gunblade Rek'Sai?
It sounds great.
Oh, I hope not. And then the W was just primary target is still knocked up. So when you unearth, and the rest are knocked back to other nearby enemies, and the base damage just changed from 40 to 200, from 50 to 110. It's a bit different. And then her alt.
Better at when you have 1 point in it, and then worse the rest of the way. But
Pretty
you're
much
maxing that
last.
So
Yeah. And then her new alt, Void Rush. So it's got a few new parts to it. The little flavor text add is that Rek'sai marks champions she damages and can dash to a marked target, dealing damage based off their missing health. So it adds the aspect of prey. It says Rek'sai passively marks enemies as she damages as prey for 5 seconds, and then she targets these prey marked enemies burrowing after a 0.35 second cast time before emerging from underground and leaping at her target after an additional 0.75 seconds. So she burrows quickly, lunges at somebody. She's unstoppable both during the cast and the leap, so you can't Jace hammer her away or any type of knockback or thresh hook. And then that actually has a ridiculous damage on it. It goes from 100, 250 to 400, and then plus 1.6 of her bonus AD, plus 20, 25, and then 30% of the target's missing health. So it is just a straight execute. And the cooldown starts at 100 seconds and then goes to 80 and 60, and then the range is 1500. So all around, that's going to hurt so much getting hit by that. Oh my God.
It does like Lee Sin ult damage, and it's on the exact same cooldown too. So
is it? It's targeted, is it not?
Mhm.
it's it's targeted. It's very very similar.
It can be flashed, I believe. Like you can dodge it.
I would hope so.
Well,
Pretty sure. Kind of like if you flash at the very last second of Lee Sin Q. I'm pretty sure it's meant to work that way.
It's weird because some abilities you can flash and some abilities that you can't. Like Fizz Q you can flash now, right? But like some abilities you can't. So hopefully it's an ability that you can.
because it depends if the damage is dealt as she arrives or after she lands. It depends on what part of the animation. Because if it's after she's fully landed on you, you can flash it. But if it's as it's like hitboxes meet, and it's like Zyra ult kind of deal, then you're screwed. That's just gonna hurt every time. But people are definitely gonna flash it right away, so it shouldn't be long until we find out if it's flashable or not.
Yeah, overall I really like the changes. Like as boring as it is, old Rek'Sai ult was super boring. It was like, hey, I need to get back to the jungle to farm, so I'm an ult there. Or it's just like infinite pressure like through the jungle. Like you can be bottom and then they can go Baron and then you still have pressure on Baron, right? They're kind of changing her into more of a bruiser rather than a tank though, from what I'm seeing. Like with the AD scaling, with the lower cooldowns on even your tunnels and stuff like that,
From
it seems
Baron,
like you're
right?
supposed to be going in and out of the fight as like more of like a bruiser type character.
Yeah,
Which honestly, when she came out, that's what I hoped she would be.
seconded. Totally dittoed. And I mean, anytime they add big damage to an ability, like so you're getting a shit ton of damage on your ult that used to have no damage. Like that just screams build a little bit more damage. The only thing is, so like the being able like marking an enemy for 5 seconds, right? That's dope. Like you tunnel in and you hit them and then they flash away and then you ult them. Like, you know, you have extra gap closer. It would be cool if instead of like enemy you hurt within 5 seconds, it was like enemy anyone on your team hurt within 2 seconds. Because then you could set up some really fucking cool plays.
Yeah. I think they would tune that down first out of the new kit, not even that they're scaling. If we had like a Caitlyn on her team and she just like rapid fire cannon auto somebody else and Rek'Sai just leaps out of nowhere on them, that would suck a lot.
I feel like stuff like that I would love to see behind the scenes, but I bet it's stuff like that they always play with. Like whether it's your team can do the damage or you can. I feel like that's something they probably played with at some point.
That was probably the first testing, and then they're like, no, this can't go out.
Yeah. I think it's cool though. I mean, I feel like she's bad right now, but maybe that's because people are still playing her the old way. That being said, like I thought Brad brought up a really, really interesting point where it's like she used to have a non-damaging ultimate, and she was a fairly strong character, like even damage-wise, not just like the pressure of your ultimate, but like they didn't nerf any of her damage that much. If anything, they buffed a lot of her damage, and then they gave her a damage ultimate. So like that seems a little bit odd without any other damage nerfs.
Well, and the whole tunneling and how it's gonna be smoother and like quicker reentry and quicker whatever, that whole thing is gonna play like a bigger impact than I probably realized, because you're like, oh, I can get her. She's not gonna hop in there, and then boom, she's gone, and you're like, well, shit. Like, or just how fast they can even make that. Like, there's some times when you cancel that last auto because she gets in the tunnel too fast and you can't click it. That's gonna happen more often now.
So when you hit Prey Seeker,
Yeah.
you get vision, right?
Yes.
So that's interesting because you could hit someone with a Q and then they flash, not remembering that you still have vision on them. The same way that like Lee Sin Q works, right? Like you hit them, and then they're like, "Oh shit, that hit me," and you're like, "Ha ha, I still got you, bitch."
And then they flash and you finish your Q.
Yeah, exactly. Or in this case, you just ult them.
Yeah. I hope this is a way, because I feel like balancing the numbers on just how much damage she does past this is a better way than just she's too good of a jungler. If she does anything the way she used to, too much pressure, she has to get nerfed into the ground. Because I remember it was one of the old dev blogs they used to release on the podcast from the League of Legends, and it was talking that like they would never release a jungler better than Rek'sai, like technically in terms of like kit gank ability. Like we will not release a jungler ever this good. So we can't balance her. Too bad she's in the gutter or she's super strong. There's no in between. And I feel like this is a better step to finding that happy mid ground, because they can balance numbers now. Not, well, her kit's the same, we're going to make her do less damage because she already didn't do any. Because you couldn't build her damage before, really.
Yeah, I still feel like the problem in her kit is she's kind of similar to Thresh in the respect that Thresh, I feel like Thresh could still have like be a picked character if every single one of his abilities did 0 damage. Because of the amount of utility and CC and everything that he provides to your team. She's similar in that way, but more in a competitive sense with her passive. I feel like her passive is one of the best passives in the game in the fact that it gives vision without actually having vision through like tremor sense. I feel like that's an ability that is almost impossible to balance, and that will always make her, like as you mentioned, the OP, or they're gonna nerf her so she's trash, but she still has that like mechanic. You know what I mean? Like I feel like that's just such a hard mechanic to balance. So maybe this is gonna be a nice direction, but I feel like they're never gonna remove that part of her kit, like the tremor sense. But
it's too much of her identity now.
As ridiculous as it sounds, like you could take away Thresh's Flay and ult and just hook and Lantern. It'd be like, well, it's still pretty good.
yeah, that's what I mean.
No, but and Rek'sai was really popular after they made a lot of the stealth changes too. Because that's all you needed. Because there's so many times you're like, I haven't moved in a while, and Rek'sai shoots a Q. She's like, no, I know you're there. Back up. And you're like, shit, how? I've been here for a while. Like, yeah, like, sometimes she's very annoying.
You look at the very top level play where it's like she's probably the most potent. Like, I mean, there's been one game competitively that I can remember where her passive was abused like the other way. And I think it was a Fnatic did it against, I can't remember which team, some team in EU, where they had vision of Rek'sai near Baron, and they saw that Rek'sai was coming into their like top jungle. So they all just stood still in the middle of their jungle, like not in bushes, just like standing there. And like she walked up and they just killed her, right? Because she had no vision because they weren't moving. But it's like I've never, other than that in that one situation, seen people use her passive against her. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You see it in the LCS, and that's it. Where people are like, Rek'Sai is gonna invade. We're all gonna stand absolutely still.
Yeah.
And still, that's one situation over like I think she's now officially the most played jungler in competitive over like 500 games or something like that. Like, and I've seen that once. Like, I don't know, man.
Well, and I like if I were to start jungling, I would definitely have wanted to play her even before these changes, because you can get in and out of the other person's jungle really easily. And for climbing, counter jungling is so easily way to tilt the enemy jungler and just instantly win the game. If they come into their jungle and they don't have wraiths or Krugs and you've stole one of the red buffs, that jungler is so tilted they're going to force the next 3 ganks and probably die during 2 of them. Like, it's such an easy way to do it, and you just have to tunnel out.
So, long story short, Rek'Sai seems better.
Yeah, I would play her.
Treat yourself. Here's the question. I genuinely don't know the answer to this. Pool party Rek'Sai. When do I get to jet ski? This is pretty important to me.
I don't have an answer for you.
I bought a skin so I could get a jet ski for free. Now I'm just wearing a life jacket. I'm never even jet skiing. This is ridiculous.
Is it just like a little mini jet ski now?
I don't know. I used to be able to like buzz all the way across the fucking across the map. And now it's gone. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yep.
Yeah. Well, she was not the only jungler changed though this patch. And I'm kind of looking forward to this one because I wanted Kindred to be good forever because I play AD carry a lot, and I don't really like playing Jungle Graves because he's not an AD carry anymore, really. But they did change Kindred around. Apparently, it hasn't helped too much, but I played against her, and it sucked, and it hurt, and it was not fun. But they did make some changes to her, especially to like her passive. So I don't know if one of you guys want to run down it because they've heard me just run through Rek'sai, and I don't think they want to hear me do it again.
Hey, Aidan, why don't you take this? Because I don't give a fuck about Kindred.
Yeah, so she's, I guess, kind of interesting. So they kind of changed around her mark system a little bit. So now when you get your marks, you gain extra range after every 4 marks. So you get 75 after the first 4, then 25 extra range after every other 4. So, I mean, normally in a Kindred game, like in, say, ranked, you'll get like 12-ish, you know what I mean, marks, which is what, 125 extra bonus range. Maybe you'll get 16, which is 150 bonus range. Not game-changing, I don't think, by any means. Yeah. That being said, the other changes to her marks that I hear not a lot of people talking about, I think are way more interesting. So you also, her stacks also amplify her other abilities. For example, her Q, her Dance of Arrows, you get bonus attack speed increased by 5% per stack. Your W, you get current health damage increased by 0.5 per stack. And then your E, you get missing health damage increased by 0.5 per stack. I feel like those are the changes that are more interesting than the attack range. Because, I mean, having an extra 125 attack range isn't game-breaking by any means, I don't think.
Yeah. I don't think it's game-breaking, but, like, for somebody who's already, like, kind of mobile and nimble and a pain in the ass to lock down, it certainly doesn't hurt either. Like, there's nothing bad about that change. If anything, it's going to add like some damage elsewhere. And like, I mean, we're going to see it in a second when we talk about the other abilities, but she has so many different kinds of damage that making it easier and more accessible to get them out is going to hurt once people figure out how to play her again. Because she's been in the dumpster for a while. But once somebody out there's like, I figured this out, it's going to suck getting into that game. Because it's going to hurt a lot. She's got like current health, missing health. Her Q is going to have greater range. Her E is going to have greater range. It's going to hurt a lot. I'm not looking forward to it.
Want me to just run through the other abilities really quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, so her ultimate wasn't changed, but we'll go through the other basic 3 abilities. So her Q now grants attack speed on cast. The passive no longer increases damage. Ratio increased to from 0.2 to 0.65, and dash speed increased from 400 to 500. Kind of meh changes, other than the ratio, I guess, is pretty big, but that's about it. Her W, you can cast it anywhere within 500 range, including over walls. Hunting zone radius is unchanged. Wolf's attacks deal an additional 1.5% of the target's current health as damage, plus an additional 0.5% per mark, the thing we mentioned before with her passive. And the ratio was reduced from 0.4 to 0.2, and damage type was changed to magic damage. I think the magic damage change is probably the biggest change, I guess. Like, you can't...
Yeah.
Like, not that you build lethality on her anyways, but I guess that kind of narrows what you can do with her.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're still probably going to go like a weird on-hit attack speed, but it opens up like if you want to take like Ginsu's or something. Because that sounds like it would be awful to go against with like the mix of like current health, missing health, 2 types of damage. That just seems like it suck. And I really like the change that you can place it wherever, because she kind of had the issue that was like Maokai's old ult, where like, look, my ult's spinning around me, it might be effective. This always felt bad when you're like running. If I run away and I get a little bit more damage from Wolf, I can get a kill. Or like I can survive. But like now if you can put it preemptively ahead of you a bit, and it reduces like the cooldown of your Q, and you can kind of hop through it a bit more and lead people through it instead of like halfway through it, it might make people back off more. Or you can like toss it in the opponent's red and like, by the way, I'm also going to come for your red, and now you have a greater area of like effect with it. So I think it's pretty cool. I like it.
Yeah, and then last but not least, her E. So it was changed from 5% maximum health to 8% missing health. Obviously, plus the scaling ratio on her passive, which is the 0.5% per mark. The base damage was reduced. The ratio is increased from 0.2 to 0.8. And then Wolf's attacks can now critically strike targets below 15% for 50% bonus damage. So, I mean, the change from maximum health to missing health is a pretty big change for the most part. It kind of changes the whole like scope of the ability, because now the ability isn't just like another generic damage ability. It's more like a finisher, if anything. Like everything in this ability is now centered around finishing that target off.
Yeah, they're getting low. Pop your E on them, and then just watch the damage roll in. You know what I'm wondering though too is that if you, because I've only played against Kindred once since this patch, and she built like a weird mix of like on hit crit, almost like what Master Yi would build. Excuse me. It hurt a lot. That E hit so hard because of that, like just the increased AD ratio on it and the extra missing health. I got absolutely destroyed by her. That being said, I can still see the on hit one being better, so you can pump out more consistent percent damage.
Yeah.
But I mean, you are going to get some crit by taking, like you're probably still going to want Runins.
Yeah, I agree.
But like, it's not going to feel great at all.
No, not in the slightest, honestly.
No, I don't miss when Kindred was really, really big, because like as an ADC, it's like, oh look, an ADC that hurts more than me has an item that's going to hurt me, because you pretty much exclusively take Red Smite on her, and I'm going to die, and there's nothing you could do about it. And it feels bad. I hate it.
Oh, it's terrible. Yeah, I agree.
But do you think she's worth playing though? Do you think if you're a jungler, do you pick her up? Do you leave her alone?
I think it's a buff no matter what. I think that the only problem is Kindred was probably one of the worst junglers before. I know Kindred last season she was the best Kindred in North America, or he was the best Kindred in North America. And he was like constantly like mid challenger. He stopped playing solo Q because Kindred's so bad. Like he plays flex Q now to play Kindred. I mean, he's challenger and flex, but he can't get past like mid diamond and solo Q playing Kindred now. So I mean, hopefully these changes will make him better. But like when you have someone who has like 800 games of a character and they're struggling to get to where they were the previous season, there's a problem, right? Like,
yeah. Well, and the weird thing with Kindred is she's one of those heroes that's been really bad for a while, so no one knows how to play her or play against her anymore. So like, if you want to try her out and see how she is, go for it, but your first 5 games are probably going to be rough, both in terms of your team not knowing what you do anymore and you not knowing what to do on her anymore. So it's going to be a weird mix of you don't know what you're doing and your team doesn't know how to work with you.
yeah.
You might get lucky though, and you're against a team who also knows no idea, and you come out and you're just shredding the shit out of an entire team with all kinds of mixed damage now. Like, I don't know.
She still feels like a very feast or famine character, where if you get ahead, you're gonna snowball the game and win just based off a stack system, right? But then again, if you're behind, like I mean, she gets demoed. She's an AD carry in the jungle, to say the least, right?
Yeah. Now with both of like the jungle champions that we've seen. And I know, like, especially from like a higher elo, where usually you see a bit more of like, you know, teams actually picking a team comp and people using their brains when they play this game. No offense to anybody who's in low elo, I'm in mid gold. I'm not that high. So, but do you think that both these people are only going to be seen when you have like a tank top laner and a mid laner that's like somewhat self-sufficient? Because like you can't pick like Rumble top, Kindred jungle, Squishy mid, you know, Soraka bot, like it wouldn't work. Or even the new Rek'sai, like people are probably still going to think that Rek'sai is going to soak a bit of the damage until they're used to her building 2 damage items and then tank. You know what I mean?
I think it's weird. I don't really know how to say it. Like, if you look at like any website like op.gg, champion.gg, both the characters are sitting at sub 45% win rates right now. But that's because they just got changed and everyone's playing them, right?
Yeah.
The better of the two is definitely going to be Rek'sai. I think no matter what, Rek'sai is going to end up with the higher win rate, just because I think bruisers innately are easier to play than AD carry junglers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Fair enough.
That being said, do you have to build a team comp around them being both damaged junglers? I think for Kindred, yes. I think it's hard to have like a non-tank top or mid or whatever. For Rek'Sai, I think that Rek'Sai is still going to be enough of a bruiser to kind of sustain herself, to say the least, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that, because that's one thing too, is that if you want to learn, especially Kindred right now, please, if you're like top 3 picks and your top laner's unknown yet, I'd pick up a different jungler, play them that game, because it's only going to make like your time worse, right?
Mhm.
Especially if people know she got a bunch of damage buffs, they're probably going to want to kill you more. So
Yeah.
other than that, because we did say it's a bit of a slower patch, kind of calmer one. They did add 10 bans to normal draft, and
It's in ranked now.
Well, yes, yeah.
Wait, is it? It wasn't yesterday.
It's live today.
Yeah.
Is it the same with like we both pick 5 blindly?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so to anybody that hasn't seen this yet, what Brad's talking about is you load in the lobby, you have, was it 15 seconds or 20 seconds to indicate who you want to play still, so you can still let your team know, like, please don't ban this, which if you're picking Yasuo, they're going to ban it, get over it. But, you still have that 20-second little buffer to show who you want to play, and then it says everyone in the entire team immediately gets to ban a champion. You still have to click the champion, hit ban, it bans it, and then both teams, it is shown the 5 bans from each of them. This is the only thing I don't like from it, that both teams can say ban Zach, or both teams can ban Yasuo. So you added 10 bans, but now 4 of them don't count.
I think that's the best part about it.
That would mean that one of them
Really?
doesn't count.
Yeah, well, I mean, like on both sides. So like 4 people wasted because if I ban it and we're on different teams, we both ban Zach, both of our bans don't count.
No, that
And
means
if
one
me
of
and the
our
other
bans
guy,
doesn't count, because if I would have banned it, and if I banned it in the old system and you would have banned it, then you could add a different ban. It doesn't negate both; it negates one of them. You have one less ban total.
yeah, it's still, I don't really like the system because if I've been in a game where both teams banned 4 of the same champions.
Yeah, the crazy
So
thing
it's
is you
like,
could theoretically have less total bans now. There
Yeah.
could be 5 bans.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the odds of that are so minute. But
Yeah.
it could happen. Like,
yeah, that's
angels
the
in
only
outfield.
that's the only part I'm not stoked on. Other than that, I like it. You guys have any thoughts on the new amount of bans we got?
Being able to have, like, letting everyone have a ban is dope, especially with 132 characters in the game or whatever it is up
Something
to now.
like that, yeah.
You're never like, okay. I'm gonna break this down a little bit. With the old system, I hated the. Okay, so let's go way back. Way back in the day, it used to be pick order, right? And the first person got all the bans. Whoever was first pick got all the bans. So they had all of the power on the team. They were like, I get my lane, I get my champ, I get all the bans. And then they were like, you know what? It's going to work now where you're assigned your role. But at the same time, we're going to give the bans to the last 3 people, which was bullshit. Because it was like, wait a minute, so I have to pick first, so I'm at risk of getting counterpicked. And also I don't get to ban? But I don't get to pick my role, which was the big advantage of going first. And now they're like, hey, everyone gets to ban. We're socialists.
I think it'll reduce some toxicity, and they're like, ban this hero. It's like, you can ban it now, because I always hated that call, especially when it was a dumb champion. Like
ban Poppy, Skarner, and Malphite.
Yeah, I always just hated that.
No.
Ban Singed. No, I'm not banning Singed. Sorry, I'm not doing that.
It's also when they list 4 champions and they're like, make sure all of these are banned. You're like, first, I can't. Second of all, fuck you. Like, how about that?
I always hated it when it was like you get the first ban of the bottom 3, and it's like, can you ban like these 3 champions? And you ban one that wasn't it. They say it was you banned Yasuo. They're like, oh my god, you didn't ban XYZ. It's like, yeah, but Yas is real strong and real annoying. Sorry, man, I'm kind of looking out for our team too. And they're like, no, like,
there's this cool situation where like you get to pick early, and I get to ban whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah.
Like, I used to ban LeBlanc every game, no matter what. Even though
You
I
still
played
do
a lot
sometimes.
of LeBlanc. Yeah, I still ban. I just, fuck it. Like, if I don't feel like dealing with it on that particular day or with that particular champ I want to play, I'm going to ban whatever the fuck I please. And if you don't like it, fuck you. You should have petitioned for more bans. And you didn't, or at least you didn't win that petition, because you get one. One, motherfucker, one. The interesting thing that I think will happen now, though, is people not banning what they assume the common ban will be.
Oh, and then it's slipping
They're
through.
mind gaming. It's like, well, I don't have to ban Yasuo because obviously someone else is going to ban Yasuo. And then it doesn't happen. And then now you just have a fistful of Yasuos.
I'm hoping, like, I ban Zach every game because I play AD carry and fuck Zach. Because I got thrown into a team, the enemy team, twice, and I'm like, I'm never seeing this champion ever again. Ever. He will never see through in my game if I'm playing bot lane. And I really like that. Makes me really happy.
Nice. It's nice to just be like, I can get, like, when I first started playing, I was like, I don't know how to play against Malzahar. He just ults me. Like, what's a QSS? Like, what is that? So I would just ban Malzahar every game because I was like, well, I can deal with other people, but if I play against Malzahar and he pushes flash and then R, I'm fucked.
Yeah.
Guess I'm fucked. So I don't want to play against that. Like, yeah, give me Zed. I can like flash things. I can move around all nimbly bimbly. Sure, I'll play against that. But, like, just get Malzahar away from point and click suppression.
Yeah. The only thing that's going to really suck is when a new champion comes out and they're actually decent. That champion's never seeing the first 2 weeks. Ever. No. Like, more so than it happens now. It's like you are actually not going to see that champion because the chances are that 1 in 10 is like, nope, fuck this. They're not on my team. I don't want to play against it either. Is very high like in that scenario because it already happens, right? That's gonna be kind of funny. I'm the dick right now too with the new Zach.
I don't know. I think the new system's really, really, really good though. Like I love everything about it. The main thing I like is the fact that they somehow added more bans, which I didn't really care. Like, I don't care if there is 3. I don't care if there is 0 bans. Like, whatever. I mean, you play. The whole point of the game is you adapt to the meta, then you play around it. Like, if X, Y, and Z are OP, then learn how to play them. So if they're not banned, you can play them. You know what I mean? Like, but anyways, whatever. I'm fine with them adding more bans. But the main thing is they added more bans, and they also managed to reduce the timer, the champion select time, which is
fast. Like
the minimum it can be faster is like 1.5 minutes, like, and the maximum is like 3 minutes faster. Like, it's great, honestly. Like that helps out so much. Like, honestly, that being said, I honestly love the system of the stuff can be double banned because I feel like you shouldn't just be looking for something to ban just because. I feel like you should be banning the stuff that you actually think is this can ruin the game if it's picked. You know what I mean? Like the Lulus of the world.
That's fair.
Whereas if, like, say that we're in a meta where only, like, Lulu, Darius, Riven are OP. Those are the 3 OP characters in the game. Everything else is perfectly balanced. Yeah, right? But let's just say that. Like, on the 4th
in a
ban...
magical world where that's the situation.
Yeah, but it's like on the 4th ban, you're looking for stuff. You know what I mean? Which I don't think is the proper way to look at it, right? Like, I don't know.
Well, no, I can see the point you're making, too, because, like, when... I remember one of the biggest complaints that was being made when it was only 3 bans aside is that there's, at this point, too many heroes for there only to be 6 strong characters.
And I'm totally on board with 10 total bans. Yeah, it makes sense. Like, you're still banning less than 10% of the champion pool.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of like the point you made, Brad, where it's like, I don't want to see LeBlanc. Fuck her. I don't want to see her. Never want to see her. And that's like me when I play bot lane now. I don't want to see Zach. If I'm playing top lane, I am never seeing Pantheon ever. Because if people play Pantheon, no.
You personally lose. It's a personal counter.
Yeah. I could play his #1 counter and I could have 100 games on him or 400 games on him. I am losing to that Pantheon.
Yeah, that's like I can't. I don't know about now because I barely ever play against him, but like there was a while, like a year or so ago, where I just couldn't beat Yasuo. Didn't matter what I played, who was playing Yasuo. I like it could be me playing Yasuo with my feet on a different keyboard, and I would still lose to that Yasuo with my hands because I just couldn't do. I didn't know it just wasn't happening. So the fact that I can be like, you know what, there's something I never want to see. Get it out, and it's out every single game. Lovely.
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah. From what I've seen too, the feedback's been generally positive, which for a Riot made change, that's unheard of. That doesn't happen. When
What
Riot
do you
changes stuff, people go nuts.
What do you guys think about the mind gaming bans, right? Like, do you think that's going to happen where, like, sneaky good picks get through because both teams are like,
Oh yeah,
the other guy's going to ban it?
I was playing like mid lane, and I was like, I don't need to ban Zach. The AD carrier will definitely want to ban it, or the other jungler, and he snuck through, and it was an awful game.
Is first pick on the blue side now the best position to be in? Because you could get that sneaky pick that snuck through?
Probably, yeah. I mean, it depends on, like, in soloQ, probably, but I mean, that would require you to have communication in a soloQ game. So. And the pros do that 3-3-1-1-1 kind of thing, so it won't even affect them.
Do you think that would have been a better ban system or no?
In a competitive?
Yeah.
No, I think the longer ban system that they have, where it's 3-3 than the 1-1-1-1.
Way better for competitive, but it's long for solo queue.
Say if the length was an issue.
No, the length. The whole thing with that is that it needs that length because they have so much time in gameplay and analysis, and so much work has gone in to pick out that ban scheme and to play against the other team and have that many bans, that you would essentially be like, analyst, nah, we don't really need one because who knows what ban's going to be. And you know what I mean? And it would take away from that, we're going to ban this in this order to see what they ban. Like, it takes away like an aspect of pro play that is like often not seen, and it's a boring one. Like when teams say, oh, we lost in champ select, that's really a boring answer that a lot of fans don't follow, but it's one that like pro players do take very seriously, especially like analysts and coaches. So I think you wouldn't want to take that away. It'd be like the same as like, in football, you can only use these plays that my sixth grader drew, or you can use the entire playbook that was given to you by the GM. Like, you would pick the complicated one. Right?
I guess what I was trying to say was like,
GM making the playbook.
I picked a football position. I'm like, it's obviously the head coach.
You were doing a good job until the GM situation.
Yeah,
that would be like, here, you can only play with the roster that's made up of players that my 6-year-old knows, or you can look at the entire lexicon that our GM has.
Yeah.
In his.
I guess what I was trying to say though was, do you even think, like, I've seen this complaint before, is like, why didn't they bring that system to soloQ, the competitive system?
It would take for
no, like, say even if length wasn't an issue though, do you even think that would even benefit soloQ? Like,
no,
if you look in competitive, like they ban out, like, every single time the last two bans are like double roll bans. So like whatever the enemy team hasn't picked, say they haven't picked an AD carry yet, you pick your AD carry, then you double ban another AD carry, so that like lowers their champion pool by 3 immediately. I feel like that wouldn't ever be utilized in competitive in solo queue.
I think for solo queue, the way that they could have done it if they wanted to have all the bans out of the way, like straight away, is to do similarly to how they do picks, right? 1 ban from blue side, 2 bans from red side, 2 bans from blue side, 2 bans from red side, but not like one and then the other. Like, you two have 30 seconds to ban, you two have 30 seconds to ban, and that would have been okay because then you wouldn't have the duplicates. But at the same time, I think this system's fine for now, and there's the mind game element that I'm super hype about.
I really like it, like watching champ select, and when if I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna miss like the opening of like the TSM game because that's who I support. If I come in and it's like 3 minutes in, I'm like, I wanted to see the pick. Like, I want to see pick ban. Like, I actually enjoy seeing pick ban in competitive. So that would have kind of sucked to miss it. And one thing I thought of is our in-house games. We do play them fairly often, like our 5-on-5s, and we always use the tournament draft, which is like whatever version of tournament drafting style they have available. If they had that competitive format in our end, that would take longer than it already does to get all of our 10 LOLA asses together for a bloody game. It would take forever. My God, it would never happen. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of glad they did the system too. Yeah. Anyways, moving on from this patch, if you have any questions about it, let us know. I know there was a little bit of talk on our Facebook page, but not much more than what we've kind of covered here. But if you do have any more follow-up questions, let us know. But we do have a comment from Facebook from Brian A. And he just wants to say, hey, guys, first I just want to say that I started listening to you guys around 2 months ago. You guys are by far my favorite and most enjoyable and informative podcast. that I listen to. Since listening to you guys, I was able to climb out of bronze. So thank you. And for all you guys do, congratulations, Brian, eh? That's sick, man. Now to business. Oh, very, very quick. I'm a mid ADC due to advice to start playing the kill lanes. Not bad advice. Now I know I have a lot to work on my gameplay, CS position, etc. What's really been bugging me lately is during the game, I'll come to a point where I have to make a choice to either save a tower or go help my team. I want to help my team, of course. However, I don't want to just let a tower go for free. What's a good way to handle or assess these situations?
General rule of thumb: if it's not first tower, help your team.
Yeah, that's not a bad place to start. Yeah, no, that's true.
Not always correct, but like if you're wishy-washy, err towards helping your team.
Yeah. Yeah, this question, I read it earlier and I'm like, oh god, this could be an episode on what to do. Know your macro. Bring back that series just for this question. Because it is a weird one. I get this in ADC still, where I'm just like, if I'm in comms with people, I know Brad, you've definitely heard this. Because Aidan, we haven't played too much together, mostly because I don't want to get destroyed by your master top lane ass. I don't know. Anyway, but I've definitely been bot lane, and I'm like, do you guys need me? If there's like a 4v5 mid, I'm like, hey, do you guys need me, or can I keep pushing? I've said that, and it's not something you can always do in soloQ necessarily. But there are ways of indicating the chat, like, do you need me to come? ? Do you, like, if you start pinging for help, or there's kind of ways around it. It does take a while to get used to when you should do what. It depends on so much. I don't know where to start on that one, actually. Aidan, do you got any thoughts on it?
So I actually saw this question. I was thinking about it. I think the kind of the problem stems from like a team problem, not just your own mid lane. In the fact that if you need to go help bottom, then it's probably because they're getting 3v2'd or 4v2'd or 5v2'd or whatever the out number, right? And that means someone else on your team should already be there evening out the number of teammates. You know what I mean? Meaning, like, say if it's their jungler down there and it's a 3v2 against your bottom lane, either you should be there and your jungler should be mid, or your jungler should be down bottom to make it a 4v3 again, or your jungler should be down there and then you should be mid holding your wave, right? Like, you're looking at it as if like you're the only person in the game, which it sometimes feels like that, but like
bronze and silver, you're the only person in the game.
That's what I mean. Like, but the thing is, if it's a 3v2, then it's not always your job to be down. You know what I mean? Like, I would always recommend following your lane. I do think that what Tyler said of error on the side of helping your team, I think that's always positive, mainly because it reduces.
Like a thing Tyler said.
Didn't
Tyler, what a good point. You fucking.
No, I was more talking about like the habits I have. Brad was the heir to your team.
Well, Tyler's point of how you heir to your team.
God damn it, I lost it again.
You know why? It's because I got his name right this time.
Yeah. No, honestly though, I feel like it is always safer to heir to your team, but like, don't always blame yourself for situations like that. I feel like it's more of a team thing, which you can't control always. But maybe you could, if you're ever like playing like say normal with friends, or you're doing it with a jungler, then you guys should work together on that rather than it being your own issue, right?
Mm-hmm. And that is something that you're going to have to start worrying about as you climb, because like now you're out of there is no meta, there is no macro knowledge realm that is bronze, and you're slowly getting to where that stuff exists more. This does become a bigger issue the farther up you go. Because your teams will know where to rotate. It does something that will develop, and you'll know where to be when and when to make that call. But I agree with Aidan, though. You made some good points, man. Yeah. Yeah. For anyone that didn't see, Brad's giving a real big grin with a real big thumbs up. Just go check out our video podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to look at us, but like it's entertaining.
Listen, here's the thing. Aidan, classic young man good looks. Tyler, a head of hair that George Clooney dreams about. And me, I got a hat on sometimes.
You do.
One episode I wore sunglasses. It was great.
Yeah, and if Blake's on, you get to see the top of his head because some reason his mic is 3 monitors above him.
Also, sometimes he just I believe Dr. Ham 2 years ago called it the chubby guy slouch, where he just hits like one of these.
Yeah.
Blake
Or
will hit
the-
you with a hard slouch. It's
Yeah,
worth
just-
it.
yeah,
It's
as
worth
long-
tuning in.
and on a rare night, you get to see the snacking ham, which apparently is a thing in the
It's not a thing.
Fields household. I didn't
Okay,
say. Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah.
Before
No.
you said that's only a thing in the States, and I was like, the fuck it is. No one
Hey, hey, Canadians, we outnumber this week again. There we go.
It's all right. I'm old. I'm as old as both of you collectively.
You are not.
I'm older than both of you together.
Do you think I'm like 12?
Not. I know how old you are, and you're not.
I'm 53 years old.
That's not even both of our ages together, is it? And I don't know how old you are.
I turn 21 next week, actually.
Oh, so we'd be 44 because I'm 23.
So, real fun, not even real fun story, but just very briefly. There's this woman that I work with. We'll call her Lisa, who just has no idea how old I am, and we work very closely with one another. And like 5 years ago, Lisa said that her nephew was just getting out of college, didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. He's probably my age. He's like 18, and I was like, all right.
Thank you.
I've been out for drinks with this woman, like with my collective team at work, probably like twice a year for the last 5 years. And last year she asked me if I was turning 21. I was like, well, I'm
Yes.
turning 30, but the fact that you think I'm turning 21 should be disconcerting for you because we've spent a long time going out for drinks. And then today, she asked me when I was going to turn 30 immediately after I brought that up. And I was like, well, a year and a half ago. She's like, wait, you're 30? I'm like, no, I'm 31 now.
We've been over this.
Yeah,
Keep
she
track.
was like, she asked me again today when I was going to be 21. And I was like, we've several times.
Been over this.
And it's not like an old lady. This is like, she's with it. You know, this isn't like a senile person that would forget. Like, this is like 7 years now that you've asked me when I was going to turn 21. And then after I told you, you asked me if I was turning 21. When I turned 30, you asked me when I was going to turn 30.
So she's just keeping up to date on all the happenings in the
It was
office.
an interesting day. I had a solid like 5-minute laugh, and she got very embarrassed, but I couldn't help it.
Excellent.
Lisa's a good sport.
All right. Do you guys have anything else to add to the Facebook, to the patch? Anything else stand out?
Nada.
No? Oh, actually, sorry. There's one other comment that I saw on Facebook this week, and it's about a very subtle change that happened on the patch, and it's that Rudins doesn't stack with Caitlyn's headshots. So you
Doesn't
can't just
mean
stand in
it's
team
not
fight.
good.
Yeah, there's two variations here because I get asked this probably the most of any other question from anyone in Discord or anywhere a question gets directed to me. For Caitlyn, and pretty much any 80 carry, you still don't build rapid fire and shiv together. It's not as good as other combos. For Caitlyn, it's still better to go rapid fire and Phantom Dancer or rapid fire and Rudins. Do you either want to do single target or AoE crits in a team fight? Yes, you're not getting the added headshots. It's still better. Don't do shiv rapid fire. You're losing on attack speed. It doesn't stack the way you think it does. Still has a weird interaction because it's Riot and they're not going to make those two items work smoothly for at least another year.
Didn't they make it so that new rapid fire?
It energizes faster, but
Yeah.
because they both will stack at the same time after it's discharged, the rapid fire will hit and then discharge the lightning, but it's a really weird way the damage works. It doesn't scale as if you'd think. So you're better off
Good
just
to know.
Yeah,
Good
it's
to know.
really-
I don't play enough 80 carry.
We get asked it all the time, but especially for Caitlyn, you'd want either more attack speed from Phantom Dancer and like being able to move through units, or you'd want the AoE and crit and like in a team fight. They would both just be better.
I do
want
wanna give my 2 cents on this though. I think that it's better not to go Runons anymore. That being said, stacking of your headshot with Runons was really good, really strong. But I think that the most OP interaction with rapid fire is still the trap interaction, where if someone stands on a trap, you headshot the targets near them at that distance, which is fucking ridiculous. I feel like that's still the weirdest interaction they haven't removed.
Yep.
So I feel like there's still some merit to going Runon's on her.
Yeah, I've played it with Rapid Fire this week. It felt real good still, mostly because I didn't read the patch before I played it. But also, like, it didn't feel any different. Maybe it's because I've played far too much Caitlyn the last 3 years of playing AD carry. It's just different. You stand back more than you used to. Because the other thing with Caitlyn is you would kind of crouch up your range a bit and just get more headshots. So you played a little riskier, but you got rewarded for it. And now you just sit back a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which is the big difference. Yeah, I saw that question. I know if I didn't answer it, I get asked it at least 3 times this week. So, yeah. Other than that, we do have a few announcements. This week.
What are they?
What are they, Brad? We're going to be doing some 5v5 shoutcasted community games, and as always, that is on Wednesday at 8 p.m. CST, the made-up time zone, or 9 p.m. EST if you're one of the proper ones like us.
Regular fucking people.
Yeah. Fuck CST. Also, come join us in Discord and say hi. We're in here all the time. Come see us. I like seeing new people in Discord. It makes me excited when someone new comes in. It's like, hey, I've never been in Discord before and want to play games. And that's always good. Don't be afraid to hop in if it's a full room. More the merrier. We like to get community games going in houses. It's a good time. If you want to get a hold of us in any other way, our website is lolapodcast.com. We also have a subreddit, r/lolapodcast. And thanks again to our Patreons. As always, we'd like to thank you on the first week of the month. Sorry, excuse me. And that can be found at patreon.com/lolapodcast. You can see all of our information there, our different tiers, what kind of stuff you can get involved with. It's pretty awesome. Support us if you'd like. It'd be greatly appreciated. And also find us on iTunes or Stitcher. Toss us a rating. We appreciate it. And we like to read them. I like to read reviews. It's nice. Last one was an international review. That was super cool. Yeah, I would love it to see some more on there. And as always, all of our links for social media and stuff like that is in the episode description. So come talk to us if you'd like. More than happy to talk to you guys. Other than that, have a good night.
Peace.
Good night, everybody! I did it once. That was for Blake one time, never again. But he earned one.
It sounded great.
I thought it was pretty on par with how you
I'm going to go ahead and cut the stream. You did good. You did great. So, stream.